interview with Let's Talk. So here is Larry Bailey. Larry, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at Healthy Living OKC.
Okay, I'm a volunteer and I teach the Tai Chi Young Style program.
Cool.
And
How many classes a week do you have?
3.
3. They're all pretty full.
Yeah, and not as full as they used to be.
Well, that's true, but we're going to get back there.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about your beginning years.
In what?
Where were you born?
Oh, I was born in Spokane, Washington, but we moved around like military people.
Oh.
I ended up in Dallas, graduated from Texas A&M, and got a job at Phillips Petroleum in Bartlesville, Oklahoma.
Yes. Yes.
And then in the 80s, there was a big oil crunch, and many companies just went under. So I went back to school to retrain and got my PhD in organizational psychology. And then got a job at the Aeronautical Center, FAA Aeronautical Center, in their Human Factors program, air traffic control. So I spent 25 years working with controllers as they adjusted to different kinds of technology, making sure it didn't interfere with performance, because new technology sometimes causes a performance decrement, not necessarily a performance increase. In my latter years, it was kind of cool because I was doing EEG work on the brain and able to map out time on task fatigue, the fatigue effect on controllers, and was correlating that with their break times. And we learned that with unions and such, we're not optimal at all. So, but it doesn't affect the public safety, but it wasn't what, when you learn about the human brain, at the deep roots, you find out that we all are unaware of how our brains really work. That's what's interesting.
I'll have to agree with you on that one.
Yeah. So then when I retired, what to do, a friend of mine suggested maybe I should, because Tai Chi and martial arts in general was a hobby that I had, that I invested a lot of time in. And they had a need for a person to take over a program that had been established by an actual Kung Fu instructor. And Kung Fu is a Chinese martial arts generic, and Tai Chi is one of the components of that. So when I came, it's not like the exercise Tai Chi, it's completely different. So you can't substitute one for the other. And I met with the group, and they said, come on board, and from there it's history.
Wow. You have quite a story there.
Yeah.
Well, so what was you've had some occupations. What was your favorite occupation? What did you enjoy the most?
I enjoyed the most the EEG work, and because I had to network a lot with university faculty and their graduate students.
At OU?
And yeah, at OU, and their electrical engineering program. There's a neural, everything's integrated, so you got a lot of the neural work is done with, because it's a lot of data processing mathematically. It's pretty intense.
Wow.
And so, and then you're building systems. But it was neat to be connected to youth again, and for all the energy and the the desire to learn and to make a difference. That felt really great.
I have to agree with you about working with younger people.
Yeah.
As long as they're interested and ready to learn, they can learn a lot from people.
Oh, well, they were all brilliant.
Well, and you must be too.
They were all brilliant. They had great ideas. And they worked around the clock. They were very passionate
Wow.
about their work. No, they were high performers, that's for sure.
what made you decide to retire? What was that
Oh,
one factor?
that's a good one. The federal government started being a little bit nuts on both on money, prioritization of projects, shutting down programs, and people that were making those decisions were far removed from anything that we were doing. And so, yeah, that was enough.
You'd had enough. Okay, so just so I can understand, so you collect all this data from your EEGs.
Yeah.
Who takes it and learns from it? Where?
Oh, what we were doing, we were making recommendations. So the example would be if you've had this experience, you could be reading a book that's technical and you're tired and you'll start nodding off. But you'll come back together, you'll come back. Well, we could actually see them nodding off. And you might not report that. So you don't, when you have performance decrement, humans have a tendency not to want to say that they're nodding off. And management doesn't want them nodding off. It doesn't stop them from nodding off.
Right.
And so that's what we were dealing with, the realities. And that was cool. It taught me a lot about myself. But, and it taught me that, well, of course we were working with NASA on the astronaut type stuff. I mean, they do all that monitoring too. We've actually, we've actually changed. There's in the 50s where we were behavioral, Skinner and other kinds of things with behavior science was a big deal, positive reinforcement, all that. In the 60s, it was switching over to cognitive psychology, which was short-term, long-term memory, storages and stuff. And then it went into the saying we no longer have to talk about psychological constructs. We measure brain activation. Psychological constructs are something that we just make up, so you don't have an honesty section of your brain. You don't have.
I'd have to make all of it up for sure.
Yeah, and so actually looking at what happens in the brain, and that was cool. And you're going, wow, that's what we're like. Wow, and that's what we're in, that revolution now. It's over. See, it started in the 2000s, so we're 20 years. Well underway of that's how we're processing stuff. There's all kinds of algorithms that have been made on neural networks from your phone, all the facial recognition type thing. It's all neuroscience now, how the brain is connected.
Well, you sound brilliant. You sound very brilliant.
I need to talk to my wife.
Well, tell us about your family.
I have 2 kids. They're 35 and 36 and 33. Stacy, my daughter, is 36. She's a dog groomer, and my 33-year-old son is a pharmacy technician, and he's going up through that route.
And do they both live here?
Yeah, they're about a mile from our house. They actually room together in an apartment so that they can share costs. Cool,
very good. So I'm looking here at the list that you gave me about all of these courses that you have taken through your life.
Yeah, the martial art.
Well, first of all, the first one was cross-country running.
Oh,
so you used to be a runner, or you still run?
They weren't courses. I participated in them. Yeah.
Powerlifting.
Yeah.
Cross-country cycling.
Yeah.
Where did you cycle?
Oh, I did a 500-mile thing across Oklahoma with a group. We camped out at night. All that kind of stuff. It's about 75 almost. So it was 6 days. So you can divide that up, whatever it was.
Well, you can divide that up. I'd have to get my pencil and paper and do that. Swimming. You're a swimmer.
Yeah, I just started to do open water swimming in lakes, trying to build up the confidence to be able to swim long distance in water over my head.
Did you accomplish that?
I'm in the process.
Where do you swim
I
here?
Well, yeah, but open water means in lakes. And oceans. So I go to Lake Thunderbird for my swimming.
How far do you swim at Lake Thunderbird?
Right now I'm up to a mile. So I'm trying to get to 3 miles, but that's going to be hard.
Oh, my money's on you. Okay, you have Kimbo Karate.
Yeah.
Tell me what that is.
That was like an Okinawa karate, like Karate Kid, perhaps more. That name, this is it's a philosophical approach to how to do your offensive and defensive. So the karate systems, that's what makes them different.
Jeet Kune Do?
Jeet Kune Do, that's from Bruce Lee. He was the originator of that, and that particular style is a lot of kung fu and a lot of trapping with your hands. And the idea on those programs were to borrow from other styles, adapt them to that philosophy, and they allow for the customization of each individual. So I wasn't good at fine motor skills or spinning kicks and all that, but I was good at the gross movements. And so you become proficient at what you're going to be good at instead of trying to make it what you're not.
Filipino stick and knife fighting?
Filipino, yeah.
You used real knives?
Well, we use metal ones, but they're not sharp.
Okay. Woo! All right, Krav Maga.
Yeah, that's an Israeli.
Say that again.
Krav Maga.
Okay.
Maga. That's an Israeli self-defense system. They adopted their special forces training to civilian populations, and it's very, very. It's designed. Self-defense is different than fighting or anything like that. Self-defense means that you're walking to your car and suddenly you're attacked from behind. You got to immediately respond, and you go from 0 to 100 immediately. That's very aggressive, very powerful.
Wow. And then of course Tai Chi.
Tai Chi, yep.
You have mixed martial arts.
Yep.
Now this is interesting. Technical scuba diving.
Yes, cave diving. And so it's not recreational. It's everything is about safety, life and death circumstances.
Where do you do this?
Well, you do the practice. You can do it in open water. I belong to a group called Global Underwater Explorers. It's worldwide. We have an instructor in Fort Worth, but you do the cave stuff in Florida. A place called High Springs. It's a massive cave system.
High Springs in Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
how often do you do that?
well, you can't once a year, but you're training all the time. Every time you're in the water, training.
Wow.
Everything's got to be automatic habit. So if you're wearing double tanks on the back, you have to be able to manipulate valves behind you. You have to discern where the leaks are. You have to have real strong partnerships. Everything's standardized.
Wow.
Everything's automatic. If something happens, the team responds.
So are you way deep?
That doesn't matter, but yeah.
Okay.
In a cave, you can't come out. See,
Oh,
you're back in the cave.
oh.
You can't just go up in the
Woo.
surface. There's no way to come up in the surface.
I have a little claustrophobia.
All problems got to be resolved underwater.
Okay. Oh, here's another one. Tandem skydiving.
my daughter and I, that was crazy. Hey, it was for my 67th birthday. I never wanted to do skydiving.
You never wanted to?
Not at all. I didn't have any desire whatsoever.
Okay, well.
And so the way it worked was I no longer cared. So I got to the point where it wasn't no way to, I don't care. And so what was cool about that, I did it twice. They're hooked up to the guy that really knows what to do. So that's why it's tandem.
Okay, okay.
So, but I got to go on the plane with my daughter and I as we're flying up to do the drop. And what was cool, I got to see her deal with stress and me, and we were very similar. We were joking around, clowning with the instructors. It was a lot of fun. and then that jump, nothing. I have no experiences that it was something completely new.
Where did you do this? In Oklahoma?
Yeah, it's in between Oklahoma City and Tulsa.
Cushing.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right, I've heard of that.
Yeah, we went 18,000 feet, and the free fall was about, I think it was 90 seconds, and we were going 125 miles an hour, and you don't feel like you're falling. You feel like you're in a hurricane and wind's blowing at you. So because your brain processes what it's familiar with, it doesn't have falling as something you're familiar with. So it interprets the wind, which is you falling through it, as the wind blowing at you instead of you falling through the air. So,
what I always wondered is, what would it take for me to jump out of a plane? Did they kind of give you a little shove, or did you?
No, it's scary. It's not scary, but what you do, if this is you have to open the door.
You have to open it?
Yeah. And then you're scooting out. They're behind you. You're hooked up to their stomach area.
Are you the first one out?
No, my daughter.
No. On the
Yeah.
You're the first one.
You hang with your feet straight
because
down.
it's you and then the instructor on top.
You're hanging outside the plane with nothing to hang on to. Your hands are crossed and you're just dangling. And a little bit, you're probably in shock. I think I was in shock because I didn't process too much. And, I thought that when you went out, you would kind of float a little bit, maybe go sideways a little bit. It is immediate, without hesitation, straight down. It's just like the best I can compare it to is if you're on one of those 30-foot diving boards.
Oh, yes,
and you're just going to jump straight down.
Yes.
That's how you fall.
Well, I guess
That's it. You go.
I never did well on those 30-foot
Well, I know,
diving
but the
boards.
thing that was crazy is your adrenaline and all this. You get giddy.
Giddy?
Giddy.
I'd be giddy, all right.
Giddy, man. And then when the parachute opens, I was disappointed because I was starting. It was kind of cool. My daughter was, thank God it opened.
Yeah.
She's not, but there's a video, and I'm on drugs. It'd be just like coming out of an operation where you can't.
Are you going to do it again?
I did it one other time with a person that wanted to do it. It's kind of expensive, is the thing.
How much does that cost? I never thought about the expenses. I knew I
just
could
for
do
that, I believe it was $425 per person.
For 90 seconds?
The whole thing lasts. See, it's 2 minutes, so it'll be 3 or 4 minutes. The whole thing, and going up is 15 minutes.
Ooh.
So yeah, it was not. As I was telling my daughter, if I were younger, I might invest in that, but it's not. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good to know. Whew, I always wondered.
I tell you, you'll be surprised. I don't think anybody couldn't do it. It's not. And it's another psychology thing. Everything's the anxiety about what you think it's going to be.
Yes.
But once you're in it, you find out, well, none of that was anything. It was just like, none of it was anything. It had nothing to do with the reality that I'm facing. It was just complete. So it's really kind of cool on that. And if you did it younger, it could serve as a model for, all right, instead of obsessing over worries, go ahead and do something.
Right.
Instead of just thinking about it.
Instead of worrying about it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it. Like you're going to go to a doctor and surgery, you're worried about, that's
go do it.
It's not going to happen the way you're thinking it. Yeah.
That's a good one. Just go do it.
Yeah.
okay, you started martial arts, when your kids were, you were 42.
Yep, they were, maybe, see, she was 6 or 7, I can't remember. I did it because of them.
They did the martial arts.
And I joined them. So we could be a family.
And what about your wife?
She went too.
Did she?
And she ruptured a disc in her brain, not brain, in her neck.
Oh.
And so that eliminated further deal. And then the kids got to where they didn't want to do it anymore. And I had already affiliated with some other people. There's a lot of people, like I'm not a master of anything. I did a lot, got to advanced level in all those.
And all of these?
Yeah, so that when you put it all together, I'm a generalist, know a lot about a lot of things, but I never mastered any of them.
Why? My question is why?
Because I was more interested in, it's more the doing and the building and developing. I don't want to be disparaging, but that whole belt system, that's just for money.
That whole what system?
Belt, like rising up, black belt.
The belt
that
system.
That is for money, for the school. A lot of places you pay for the test, you pay for this, you pay for that. But I'll give you the good example. This is what, in the Kendall one, it's designed for you feed off somebody else's energy. So we've been there for quite a while, and the guy goes, okay, let's spar. He wanted us to spar. Well, nobody knew how to attack.
What's spar mean? I don't know what, like fight?
Yeah, but not, it's
like
controlled.
Hit each other?
Yeah, you hit each other, but it's controlled.
Okay.
You're not trying to hurt. No, we couldn't do it because nobody was taught offense. So who's going to do the initial? We didn't know how to initiate anything. Well, that was kind of silly. In my opinion, that's kind of silly. What the heck's that about? And when they were doing knife defenses, because everything was defense, in real life you would have been cut all to pieces. They worked when you did it in slow motion. They worked, but they weren't reality based. They were system based. And I'm not saying everybody was like it. That was my experience.
Right.
And so I got with some other guys that were really just wanting to build skill sets. And I went on a journey with them. We went to different places.
Like where?
Well, here in Oklahoma City, different schools. Different schools we learned. And then on Sundays, we would do sparring with each other, grappling, being on the ground, positions, all that kind of stuff. So we were developing actual skills that, and a lot of the guys were they were street fighters, they were from the street. And so they were, well, they were rough.
Well, when I look at Larry Bailey, I don't think of you as rough.
No, you wouldn't.
But anyway, okay. So when I walked in one of your Tai Chi classes a couple weeks ago, I noticed people were sweating.
Yeah.
But everything was so slow.
Oh, were we there? Because we got to, if you are doing the martial style, there's a lot of variations. We might have been doing the one where we were tightening up our muscles through the form to do the, you probably heard of this, where sports people will mentally go through their routine and they're activating all those neuromuscular cells, even though they're visualizing for real. So we were, since they're all the Tai Chi movements are an offensive, defensive posture, we were accentuating the muscle part. So push on my arm. Go ahead and push on my arm.
Push on it?
Yeah, push.
Ooh.
Forward. Push forward. No, towards me.
Oh. Ooh. I can't.
Okay, so if you were soft, you would be like this. Push forward.
Oh, I'd be that.
Well, see, so we were accentuating the strength part of it, and it's a 50-minute movement, so it's a lot of work. Or we were going real deep with our legs and being strong with our legs and articulating, so that's a lot of work.
Do you have to have a yoga mat? No.
We're standing.
You're standing all the time.
All the time.
And
And
this
then if we were doing our weapons,
Well, that's when I noticed you had some kind of,
when today, we were very sweaty because we were attacking.
do you have that?
This one is the one that we were using. They have, they're expensive, but they had wood ones. But this is a broadsword.
Whoa,
Hold it. That's not showing.
okay.
So we were really swinging that.
Well, it is kind of heavy.
It's heavy.
You do this for 50 minutes and you're gonna be tired.
Yeah, because we were actually attacking. We were moving, stepping, advancing.
Does everyone in your class have one of these?
No, that one's
It looks very authentic.
$375, and they have wood ones that are 10.
Well, what I saw was more like a paddle type thing.
Yeah.
Elongated
Yeah, that was
paddle.
theirs. That was theirs.
Okay.
That's a wood broadsword.
Okay.
And they like it. That's what the thing was. I think they like it better than the walking one. The reason why we do the weapons is to make our open hand form better. Because with the weapons, it teaches you how to use because Tai Chi is about the feet and the hips and the knees. The arms are just follow the hips. So if you can see people doing this, you say, oh, but it's really this. I'm not going to move my hands at all.
You're moving your torso.
See it?
Yeah.
So if I do this, all I'm doing is this with my hands. This is my torso doing it. I'm just doing
And
it.
that builds strength.
A lot. It's the balance and everything, because when you're doing it, your center of gravity is between your knees. So if I were falling from the sky, I would just crush down like this, and it wouldn't splat like that, because everything's between your knees. And that's the balance part of it. And then the movement of the hips, rising up and down, is the sensitivity of where you are in space. So the movement of walking. Another way of saying this, I know everybody's different, they have different motivations. How often do you do this in real life?
I don't know that I've ever done that.
I'm practicing balance. I go, but you never do that in real life. So what do you do in real life? You do this, and I fall and I trip. So the movements that we're doing, and the articulation of it as far as the martial expressive is coordinated, getting everything coordinated. And even someone said when you go and walking, if you're holding something or you're overloaded, off balance, your balance center between your feet. So the forms that we do, in order to do them right, you can't do them off balance. They don't work.
So is this class, so people that are watching this and think, oh, I might like to do this. Is this for beginners?
Everybody started as a beginner, but what we are now, my philosophy is I work with a class. So the group that I have is a mature class, and we're moving forward because we as a people want to move forward.
Right.
But when we first started, we weren't anything. They are very, very good now. So if somebody wanted to start over, we would need a number of them, maybe 5. But it's not something you can go, oh, I'm going to come, I think I'll do Tai Chi today. You can't come, there's no way to do this.
You have to be very dedicated.
You got to
is
be
what I'm hearing.
dedicated because it's all developmental, all developmental. You're always moving forward, you're always growing. It's not something that you just come in and participate.
Okay.
So that's a difference too.
Tell me what one of your accomplishments is that you're most proud of.
I really like, I'm really proud of the class, the people. We used to have 12, right now we got 5, sometimes 6, because of the virus.
Oh.
They have gone from where we started to where we are, it's not even, you can't even compare it. And we are very, what they like and how they like to be taught as far as the style of teaching, how I introduce new things to style, that was all reciprocity. We had to work that out together. So we have a culture. It's a very positive culture, but people that would come in there would notice, wait a minute, what's going on here? Because I don't, for example, I do not address or solve any problems with the group. They solve their own problems.
Problems meaning what?
You talk too much in class, you keep stopping us from doing it.
Okay.
That's between you guys. You tell me what you resolve. I don't. Just tell me next class what you decide. And it's a neat thing because the leadership type deal, it's not I direct, I facilitate.
Huh.
And because of that, we respect each other in certain kinds of ways. Also, I have to create substitutes. So, because nobody else can do so, there's certain people in class that are designated as substitutes, and so they get to practice being up there. And for them, it's quite an adventure.
Well, that might, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this may be a good technique for leadership qualities.
Yes, because since I can't advertise and don't want to advertise as an expert, it's about growing a team.
Right.
It has a strong sports thing, but it's a lot of participation in different kinds of work where you have professionals that you're hiring them for them to solve problems. Because if you could solve all the problems, you would just hire somebody to do stuff. You just tell them what to do.
Right.
But
Right.
if it's complex, you can't. You gotta have people that are gonna be motivated on their own to solve problems and be motivated, and also to be aware how their contribution feeds into the greater whole. So you got your individual success, but the group itself is succeeding. So it's a lot like sports, team sports. You can be the best of whatever, but if you are on a bad team, good luck.
Okay, before we finish up,
Yeah.
I do want to hear about your, you must be very proud of your Welsh Springer Spaniel.
Oh, yes, I am.
Tell me,
Oh,
boy or girl?
Kendall is a girl. She was very important. She's 10 years old. When she first came, I'm a dog person, hadn't had it, but I've been without one for a while. And stuff was not good in life at the moment, you know. I was not all centered correctly. So it was time for a dog, and she's a field dog.
They're very active.
And so I got her at 6 months, because she's bred well. I had some other dogs that they had issues, and it made end of life thing not good. So I would want somebody that had pretty good genes. So Kendall was a show dog, but she had a defect in her teeth. So I got her for a chunk of money, but not what
You would pay
yeah.
for a show
And
dog.
so, and I immediately signed up to, there's can't remember the group's name because it's been a while, but they do competition as far as the circuit running.
Oh,
jumping over
yes,
that.
yes.
They do tracking.
Yes.
Where they go out in the field and they follow the scent and stuff like that. So I wanted her to be her from her breed. And the people that I met there it was great. Their orientation is your dog's going to teach you how to communicate, and you're going to go through activities and you're going to be a team, but she's going to teach you how to communicate with her. So how her tail is, how it dips, how she's walking, if she was tracking. And you're going to feed off, you're going to learn what to reinforce, what not to reinforce, so that you follow a dialogue. And I had never done that before in my entire life. A dog was a pet, and not from another planet. It was like Kendall, the way we were learning was, it'd be like finding the species in Mars, and how are you going to communicate with it? And it's, the species of Mars is a dog, and so you're going to have to learn. Kendall can't be me. She doesn't have the complexity.
Right.
I have to come down and understand her. Well, we went, we did a lot. We went mountain climbing, and I learned that dogs have to acclimate as well as humans.
Oh, I bet.
So we were at 13,000, and she was ready to go back, and I went, we're not done yet. And so she actually went to another group of people.
And went down.
No, it was like, he's killing me.
Done, I'm out of here.
I'm out of here, she's killing me. And so I learned, oh, I gotta learn these signals.
Yeah.
And so we've been, she loves swimming in lakes, she loves swimming in wildlife, she's tracked, she can find me. My son, she's found me with me being a mile away.
Wow.
She just goes.
They're beautiful dogs.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Larry, for taking your time with us.
Wish you well.
Thank you so much for all your martial arts that you volunteer at Healthy Living OKC, and we appreciate everything you do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.